Push record. What's going on? There you go. We go. Emma.
Take
So,
two, considering that nothing.
Hey, it's okay. Same thing happened this morning, though. Amazon's out delivering at 4:15 in the morning.
Really?
Yeah, but a different car. So it wasn't even the same guy. So that's a shift.
Maybe you should tell this story because I don't have that.
All right. So when we started our podcast yesterday, which technical things go wrong all the time with everything I ever do that has to do with technology. But yesterday we had a little accident. So we're re-recording today. And the reason we're doing this, I got in here and I was all hyped up because I'm walking my dog at 4:00 in the morning, which is what I do after I do yoga. So I can have a calm start to my day. And this car, about a block away, I see that it's kind of lost, going the wrong way. And it turns around and comes towards me and then stops where I am, which at 4:10 in the morning is a dangerous thing to do in Oklahoma to anybody, much less an unmarked car. Mm-hmm. What I would recommend is Amazon have a sign on the car that's lit saying it's you. But this poor schmuck gets out of the car and walks up to the house. I'm reaching behind my back to make sure I can defend myself. I think it's the polite way to say that. And the guy's like, man, I'm sorry. I know that looks a little weird. I'm like, dude, you got the most dangerous job in the world. What are you doing? And he was delivering Amazon packages to the same house this morning.
3:30 yesterday, 4:30 this morning.
4:10 or 4:15, somewhere. Yeah.
So it's actually a regular shift that Amazon is running in the middle of the night.
Right. And most of us are just unaware. But here's what I would say. It is the smartest time to deliver. But you have to be cognizant or aware that other people don't know who you are in their neighborhood as you stop right in front of them.
Yeah, especially with a state with open carry.
And for those of you who don't, we have no rules about guns here. We just don't.
Stand your ground, Sean. Just shoot.
And that would have been a stand your ground because all I have to do is feel like somebody is threatening me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's some ambiguous shit. Our stand your ground laws are so strong that OK2A, the Oklahoma Second Amendment Society, is now just another arm of right-wing weirdness, and they get paid to work elections.
Yeah, I think they just succeeded at their mission statement of making guns as easily accessible as what.
Right. And the NRA moved out of Oklahoma because there was no work to be done.
So
how about that?
I don't know whether that's tragic or not tragic.
Well, here's the thing that I would say. I grew up, everybody had guns, but we all had shotguns and 22s and stuff like that for hunting. Mm-hmm. Because everybody's parents had literally moved off of farms. And that's how they fed themselves during the winter. Yeah. And so we all grew up with them. I learned how to shoot from the NRA at Boy Scout camp.
Oh, yeah.
They were the ones who came and trained. I'm a damn good shot. But what I would say is most of the gun legislation seems to be all ramping up to what's happening right now, which is we've got a used car sale lot out in front of the White House that a whole bunch of people made temporary money off of yesterday. We'll watch that Tesla stock for another few days. They got temporarily bailed out. Yes.
Hang on. I think it just lagged for a second. I think now we're back on track. But we were talking about this yesterday and how there were used car salesmen outside the White House and everything computer.
So here's the thing, as an American and a first generation American, that's the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my effing life. I mean, and maybe it goes in third world dictatorships and stuff. So look, I don't know if Elon brought Trump into the White House or Trump brought Elon into the White House. Because at this point, it looks like Elon's in charge, but then all of his companies are falling apart. So he's in charge of shit. He seems to be learning a really, really hard way that people didn't vote for him. So what they're going to do is looks like they're going to try to bankrupt him instead. Now, whether they're successful or not is a whole different deal. But when people make fun of oligarchs, which I hate the word because normal people don't know what it means. So we just say richy rich people. Mm-hmm. So Trump gets a richy rich person in there to help him out and do all the shit work. You know, like he did with his immigrant wives, he's doing it with this other immigrant, and he puts all the crap on them, and he comes out as the president of the United States. He came out okay.
Sean, at the end of the day, you can always say those damn immigrant.
right. And he gets to blame him. Right. So people quit buying Teslas. They're evidently lighting them on fire in Oregon and California and actually other parts of the world, which is weird because the people who bought them probably were pretty softy lefties because that's who bought Teslas.
Everybody who bought Teslas outside of America was and probably in California and outside of America, but all like liberal people trying to stay away from fossil fuels, and now they're
and now their cars are getting lit on fire. So dealerships won't take the cars back in trades because they don't want protests and fires in their lots. Seriously. You can't get any trade-in value off of it because now nobody wants one. Yeah. So his stock tumbles and I believe it was $150 billion in worth on the stock, but it really is not true. He had a huge bump after Trump got in and he's just lost all that. So I did more research and they said the stock really should be at like 57. It would be for what he actually sells, what it's actually worth and everything. But he is probably the first mega star autistic person, or at least spectrum person, that has made this much money as well. And unfortunately, his lack of emotional intelligence is probably what's creating all of his problems because he just doesn't have it. He doesn't. He literally sits there and looks like Voldemort doing this just weird shit, and he's got his kid with him once again.
Sean, that was my joke about him having his kid with him, where daycare in America is so expensive that the billionaire had to carry his kid around to meetings. That's how stupid it is.
That's a show opener right there, brother. That's a good one. Okay, that was good. Or nobody would take his kid because he's so freaking weird, which is more than likely the deal.
Probably no one can pronounce the stupid kid's name. I know. No offense to the kid.
And it's the same kid that told Donald Trump he wasn't president.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he loses all this money. One of his space rockets blows up. Another one couldn't launch yesterday. He's got issues. I mean, he really does. He's got issues. And so his other rich friend decides to bail him out. Now, we have an enormous car industry here. Tesla is not the American car industry. He's new. But so we do a commercial outside the White House, which is illegal. You are not supposed to endorse anything. I mean, it's not illegal. It's a emoluments clause, but Trump doesn't give a shit. He's never read the Constitution. He just doesn't give a shit. He had a salesman's document to read off what the car was.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Trump's voters,
including financing options on the sheet to let people know how much they can. I was like, what is going on?
Look, you voted for a clown. You don't get to be embarrassed that there's a clown car in front of the deal. But here's the downside, Deepak. Look, this guy wears a diaper. He smells like poop all the time, You got this weird Voldemort guy with him, and then the kid who says the truth all the time. I mean, embarrassingly so. And then they've got this cute little red sports car. Well, there's a photo taken of Trump being the driver and Elon leaning over on the other side. Looks like he was just blowing him. I mean,
it was
can't make this stuff up.
It was like the weirdest two people to sit in a car ever.
But they did prop his stock up for one day. But that doesn't look. Nobody's buying this stuff.
Remember, I was telling you yesterday when we talked about it, about how every speechwriter and teleprompter operator and microphone guy in the White House gets a copy of Trump's speech would have just made millions if he was trading.
Buy stock right then.
Because Trump just keeps starting, pausing. Someone's making billions in the background.
Yeah. So here's the joke of everything. So the economy is legitimately tanking by the day here. And I'll go over the grocery store stuff here in a minute that we covered yesterday. You know who makes money when the stock market tanks? People who already have a shit ton of money because they can buy stocks when they're down. And these same Trump voters whose 401ks are dropping is who are going to sell off in a panic, and his wealthy friends are going to buy it. I mean, we're on a...
It's a really weird transfer of wealth from working class people who voted for him just because the stock market's doing so poorly. Some of the rich guys who say anyway, globally, stock markets are usually like the people who invest the most in it are people who already have like plenty of money.
That's why you get to gamble, because you have the money. You know, you're not at the horse track doing 99 to 1. You're betting on the sure winner. So all of this stuff will drop down. So we did the Mexican tariff things, or whoever is around Trump is making a fortune. It's called buying or shorting a stock or shorting an item, meaning you're expecting it to lose. So Trump comes out with a tariff against Mexico. And so in Mexico, if you're a wholesaler at the border, they do not have the level of wealth Americans do. And this is one, he's just not familiar with people that work in the real world. He's just not.
Yeah.
And so you get a wholesaler that may have $250,000 to work. That's his bank. Mm-hmm. So he buys $200,000 worth of stuff. He's got $50,000 to play with. Well, now that $50,000 went to a tariff.
Yeah.
So there's nothing left. So I go to the wholesale grocery deal here called Restaurant Depot on Thursday. Mm-hmm. The shelves are empty in the produce and fruit aisle. Like, they're empty. And these would be hundreds of cases of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Friday morning, they were still empty. And it's over. Probably this guy didn't have any extra money to buy stuff because the $50,000 went there. Now, all of that went on top of the produce. So now, my microphone, there you go. Now the guy can't even sell his produce because it's 25% higher than the other guy because Trump canceled it at the end of the day. I mean, look, I never thought he was an impressive businessman. I always thought he was a really good promoter, and he is. But this is why you go broke in a casino, acting like an idiot. Like, I mean, this is just. I've been in business 40 years.
He did bankrupt 3 casinos. So what do you expect?
Right. I know. And his people are the ones that need to buy those fruits and vegetables that were now 25% higher. And then he pulls the thing off, screwing all the businessmen that just did their normal daily activities. And most of those businessmen voted for him.
Yeah, and perishables are like way harder, but the lead times on these orders, paying customs and getting them cleared is such a nightmare anyway. Yeah. Like, there are orders from like November in electronics that I'm still dealing with, but at least have like some sort of shelf life of like a year or something.
Yeah, and ours have 3 to 4 days. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't want your 3-day-old produce. I need your 1-day-old produce so it can be shipped here appropriately. So it is. So here's a deal that came up this morning from a good friend of mine. Her mother works at Tinker Air Force Base. She's a painter, like a union painter.
Oh wow! Those jobs still exist?
Not really.
Okay.
No masks. And they only have 1 day's worth of paint left.
Well,
So it isn't that she got fired. There's just nothing left to do.
That's like even worse than being fired.
Right. So you just go home, I guess, and nobody knows. There's no direction. Look, then, I don't know, man. I'm interested to see. Because both of these guys are DEI hires. I mean, you got a guy that's almost 80, and you got a guy that's got obvious issues. And the problem is, being a Democrat, I'm not allowed to say he's got obvious issues. When he's got I mean, Forrest Gump could see what's wrong here.
Oh, Sean, there was an interview last night of Trump and one of the Fox News anchors, and it was just oozing with charisma. You should watch it, because I was like, what is going on?
Send me the clip later. My thing is I don't want to spend my time on it because I'm at St. Patrick's Day week, man. This is my busiest week of the year. Yeah. But I will tell you, yesterday we were not as busy. And I think people are just going home and looking at the news going, like, I am going broke. And then the people that are trying to see whether they still have a job, it's a daily thing when they're going in to see. So the original estimate at Tinker was they were going to lose 600 people. And we had a Bureau of Indian Affairs stuff and all these other things getting cut. And so our congressman, Cole, this old guy, has to go up and kiss Donald's ass and see if we can do it. But I don't know what these other, like, if you've got a new congressman, all your shit's getting closed. And they're favoring red states, which is really what you don't want to start having in our government. I mean,
that's like proper divided. There was someone that on the news, not on the news, on one of the shows where he has a book called American Abundance or something like that. or it's called abundance. And he talks about how like the two parties are so different, where one wants a government but doesn't want it to do anything. The other doesn't want a government but is kind of like fucking around with everything.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, that's not wrong. And there is a medium that needs to happen. Look, I've been in business 40 years. The biggest impediment to my business is government.
Yeah.
And that's I'm a very society-wise, very liberal person. I really don't care. If it doesn't involve me and it doesn't hurt anybody, well, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, but
I'm also smart enough to... What?
I was just saying the hoops you have to jump through to get all your licenses and all that paperwork you have to go through. Mm-hmm.
It's just a joke. And this is an easy place to do business. Kansas City, Missouri, where I'm from, you used to have to hire consultants to walk your liquor license through. I mean, there's graft everywhere. India is not unique.
Yeah.
It's not unique. It exists here. But the challenge, so like internal revenue, who already do a mediocre at best job. Like I got a letter 2 months ago from my wife, Kathy, a year and a half ago on a deal they said she didn't do, which we've proved to them now multiple times she did. But they are so far behind. And those are all things that AI should be able to read. It should go and show that it's there. It should be able to do a search. Is this number document here once they find it? But I'm paying a guy $300 an hour to script another letter to send back to him.
I know.
And it's infuriating when none of this has been upgraded. So Doge was created by Obama to upgrade this stuff. It's not a Trump deal. It was created by Obama.
As in a very rational move, and not with 21-year-olds and 22-year-olds running a fucking chainsaw through departments.
Yeah. So you see the 125 of his people have quit, the Doge people, 125 of them have quit.
Oh, wow.
And they don't want to be part of dismantling America.
Oh, the person in charge of the CNN code, and I'm not making fun of this poor little girl who's like 22, 23. Yeah. She's supposed to be the head of the department that is in charge of all the federal employees. And she has like 800 followers on Instagram, where she's shooting like Instagram reels of her in different outfits in the federal building. And that's what she posts throughout the day.
Wow.
No, Sean, I should send you this clip because I thought it was some
Please do.
Of the influencer. And then I realized she's the lady in charge of the entire department. Yeah.
Look, here's the thing. Do there need to be lots of upgrades? Yes. Have the Democrats sat on their hands? Yes. Mm-hmm. Have the Republicans ever done anything to make this any easier? No. I mean, so everybody is guilty. And so when this stuff came up and I had people go, man, on your podcast, I've got a federal worker that got laid off. You need to have them on and find out what this is about. And I go, I hate to break it to you. Nobody is against shrinking federal government. No one. We all know it's out of hand. We all know there's too many people. If you've ever dealt with them in any facet, it's just insane. But you know what we really do need more? Judges. Yeah. Move criminal cases through quicker, court cases through quicker. I mean, so you and I, if we live here in Oklahoma, we used to be able to go to this thing called a tag agency. Yeah. And a tag agency was a response to the Department of Motor Vehicles, usually the shittiest run place in the entire world with an ungodly line and not enough help. So they created this thing, which was really efficient and great. And then we got this governor named Kevin Stitt who decided to complicate all of it. And thinks he's made it better, and it's a miserable experience, just like the DMV. So now it feels like I'm dealing with a government agency rather than just a person, which it used to be Dave down at the motor deal. So if that's all you deal with, and then really, really threatening, shitty letters from Internal Revenue, you hate government.
Yeah. Wasn't there that?
You wonder why your potholes aren't filled. Mm-hmm. But let me give a little shout out to David Holt. So I would always troll David Holt on Twitter when there were potholes, and they would get fixed the next day. And I thought, I'm just going to go call the Action Center at Oklahoma City and see how quick it was. They were faster. Both deals got done first thing in the morning.
Oh, wow.
But normal people don't ever get this kind of action. They don't get that same kind of response.
Sean, you're going to be a noisy pain in the ass if you don't get a response. So
I am, and that's. I'll guarantee you, somebody was like, "Jesus, get out there, just throw some rocks in the hole." but people just have a miserable experience with government. So, have you ever dealt with a union worker and it was really, really, really difficult, and you'd go, "Why do you guys not fire him?" And you go, "We can't."
Hell yeah.
We've all done it, and you go, and that was the takedown of the unions. You go, you can't fight to keep this shitty person on. That's the opposite. You guys were supposed to give me trained, good people, take care of the discipline. And so it allowed people to attack them. I mean, this is still at a 50-50 whether people are happy what's happening, because no one's gotten fired in their house yet.
This is like COVID all over again, because no one got COVID in the immediate circle. They were like, it's a hoax.
Yeah. But they believe in the bird flu like nobody's business. That's what caused chickens to go up in eggs.
Yeah, but it's Biden's fault, Sean. Come on.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, he couldn't do anything in the world, but he's responsible for all this stuff. All
right, he set up like little ticking time bombs that would go off every 6 weeks during Trump.
just in case he lost. So here in Oklahoma, we've got this, cruel Jesus thing, and all these people claim to be Christians, and the real followings of Christianity all have to do with, just like every other religion, take care of the widows and the poor and the orphans and all that stuff. So we now have a bill that just passed the House here that makes it up to a year in jail for being caught with a shopping cart.
Oh, geez.
That's not yours.
The homeless people who use a shopping trolley for carrying it around?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
A year in jail.
This is like just gone on to an extreme where I can't even understand it anymore.
So here's the deal. So they're going to cut federal lunch stuff from schools. They're going to cut federal aid, which is 20% of the school budgets here. Anybody living in the rural areas, they're going to literally have to move to the city. And if you're homeless, you just have to drag your shit around. You can't use a shopping cart.
I like this concept of fuck the kids, now screw up with a homeless person and take away the one thing that he has to carry some stuff in. Right.
I mean, that's where we are, is maybe as a society.
Next bill we'll punch a baby.
Right.
From there.
Well, I mean, we seem to be following England's downfall. So, England, as other countries said, we don't really need to be giving them 10% of our stuff.
Yeah.
And started pulling away from it, either violently or not. And England would just double down and go, well, we're going to do this. And you go, well, then we'll just kick you out the hard way.
Yeah.
And they got kicked around a little bit for a while, and they are no longer, what are they, probably fifth or sixth as a world power. It's a long way from one.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I'm bummed this is happening at my age because, dude, I want my Social Security I paid for 40 years, and that money's gone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. One other thing for anybody that you need to look at this Trump cryptocurrency. It is basically like a Swiss bank account that you can put money in.
Oh, Sean, it's like of all the cryptos, most of them, I just call them Ponzi schemes. This is the worst.
Yeah.
Right. So you just look at it. What are you selling me? I know. And doesn't the wife also have some sort of cryptocurrency or something?
It wouldn't surprise me. She got a $40 million documentary deal. She's the best looking first lady since Jackie Kennedy. I'll give her that. But she's boring. I mean, outside of being gorgeous, she's boring.
Yeah.
$40 million. And so on the documentary, she's got probably first right of refusal on any footage of any other women he's been sleeping with. So it's not going to be a documentary. It's going to be a docudrama, which is a fake documentary because somebody doctored it.
It's basically just going to end up being like proper propaganda.
Right. Isn't that crazy? So look, I think what I would say is these guys were organized coming in this time, and we all knew it with Project 2025, and the same people that didn't believe in COVID didn't believe in that. And look, I watched Fox News yesterday for a begrudgingly hour, and you thought everything was fine. There wasn't anything getting covered. Nothing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like that's the one that people are looking at, and it looks like nothing's on fire.
Right. When everything seems to be on fire. And I'm not a hyperbole guy. I mean, I'm a business person who my new beer company got bought out. They don't have Smittix and they only have a limited amount of Guinness, so I had to buy up their whole stock just to be able to get through the next 2 months. Yeah, I mean and then I got the produce stuff where there isn't any. And they're probably all waiting to buy to see if there's a tariff. Because once it starts shipping from Ireland, they are stuck with it.
Yeah, same for sure. Because once you negotiate and agree to those prices of like the taxes to import, it's going to be passed on to the American end user.
Yes, I do not pay that for anybody. So, and we've also made basically short-term enemies of Canada, who was the nicest neighbor ever, who mowed your lawn when you were out of town. And we've managed to pick a fight with them, for lack of better word. I don't even know why. And they're swinging back, and they evidently are able to fight. So we got that going.
Here the news has been about the White House press secretary holding up that little picture where India taxes liquor imports into the country at 150%. And I don't know.
So most of the stuff they put out is false. That one might be true. And the problem is you can't believe anything. That's their goal, is you can't believe anything. They had a bunch of fake ones that were out, but what they were is the last time Trump put tariffs on people, they put tariffs back on us. That's how it works. And so then he's saying they're the bad people when he started it. Dude, this one way or another, I will survive. I was watching this guy yesterday, a finance guy, and he goes, look, recession's coming, and recessions aren't that big of a deal. It just means that it's just harder to do business. And people that are good at doing business still find a way. But he goes, you need to have a year's worth of money just in case you get fired. And I'm like, yeah, those people aren't in a bad position. If you got a year's worth of money, you're already okay.
Yeah.
So I know here's the funny thing. I would look at all of this and go, in everything, there is an opportunity, right? And I'm not trying to be all poetic here, but if whoever is sitting on any cash gets to make a lot of money in probably the next 6 months. And my daughter was looking for a house, and I go, I think you should probably wait and just save your money, because you might just buy the same house for half the price. I mean, you've got hundreds of thousands of people who made good money and had good benefits that are now literally screwed. And they also don't really have a talent to go get another job. Like, if this doesn't make it here, I can go take my wares and sell something on the street. I mean, I can figure out a way to make money. It's not a legal or illegal. I'm going to survive.
See, Sean, not everybody is like that, like you or me.
Right.
You just start a new company and carry on with life. Whereas some of them are trained so specifically on a particular niche skill set. Who the hell? Like, you can't really find another company that requires that skill.
Right. I mean, if you worked for Internal Revenue and you're a mid-range person, you've been able to be a total ass for your entire career and get away with it. And you know who hires those people? Debt collectors. You know how much they make? $15 an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where that job skill works. I mean, it's just, and look, these guys none of this is an accident. I mean, it's just, none of it's an accident. And so, we'll see how we get out of it. The Elon thing, I'm really interested in watching. So I watched Tesla's stock, and I mean, the Starlink not being able to take off after all the praise, he's going to go save the Americans, and then the damn thing wouldn't go up. I think his own people are sabotaging him.
That might be one way to look at it, where they're like, yeah, we don't like working for this company anymore. Right.
All we need to do is one little sensor and have the whole thing halted. So we'll see. I give this a full 90 days from when he got into office, and I would say the shoes will start dropping then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, you froze up on me there. Oh. How are we doing time-wise, man?
Oh, we're really good. We're at 30.
Hopefully I had a good show today. I mean, that's a trade-off deal.
All right. Thank you.
All right, my man.
I'll talk to you.
I'll see you. Bye.
Bye-bye.